As farmers, we're being told that we need to diversify more, and that diversification is a really important part of our future business models. But what I'm going to say in this video is why I think that can be true and can also be false. So what's good about diversification? Diversification gives farms an opportunity to earn extra income from existing property or features or attractions on their farm. It can bring in vital income to a whole farming business to supplement where the farm might be losing more cash or not making enough, etc. It's very important for a lot of businesses that they've done this, because farming has irregular patterns of income and also is quite well known for losing money. Maybe not all the time, but quite often. What's more is farmers often can only just about sustain themselves. So diversification can also bring income and extra roles within the family. So you might have 3 children, and if you did 3 different diversification schemes, e.g. 1 meat business, 1 glamping business and 1 weddings business, you've got a job role for each child that can progress on outside of farming if necessary. These are all good points. It also might suit you a treat because you enjoy dealing with the public and you've had different training, or you've got a different set of skills outside of farming that can bring that to the farm. So my business, for example, we're a heavily diversified business. Experts in suits told us what we should be doing years ago, and it's no secret that if you can set yourself up to sell your produce at a price that's better than what you can get from a supermarket, etc. on the farm, then field to fork is a genuine option, and it's a real time. Like for us, field to fork is a genuine diversification. It's something we do a lot. We sell our meats direct to the public. We also offer glamping, as well as other things in the past. We've had dabbles in the pub trade for a good chunk of time, and things like this. But it's all centered around the farm. But today, this isn't about being negative, but it's just about how it's not quite as simple as it seems. So farmers are being told to diversify all the time, not as an idea but as a need. It's like in these junior doctor strikes. If the junior doctors want a pay rise, it's like the government telling them, well, why don't you just set up a shop on the end of your driveway? That's essentially what's being told to farmers. So some people just don't like the idea of it, that we're almost being told to do it. So some farmers won't like that. Second to that, diversification can have incredible startup capital. They're hungry. In fact, we have spent so much in the past on our diversification that I'm not even sure we've ever made a penny yet. So when it comes to the glamping especially, it's quite good, but again, it's still costing, and we're not at a place yet where you're making any of your money back. So there's a long-term return possibilities, but generally you need startup capital, and you need or a big loan. Both are hard to come by, to just make a start in a sector that you've got no clue about. We've had years of experience in it now, and I still don't know everything. The meat trade changes constantly, holiday trade changes constantly, and we don't run the pub anymore, which we now let out. Pubs, when we first started our pub diversification to sell our own produce through it, was a very different beast to what it is now, and obviously we've had COVID and things like that, so it all changes all the time. So diversification, it's not for every farm. Why? One of the biggest problems I have with diversification is the only good it does for the farm is money. And that's it. That is my problem with it. Diversifying doesn't help the farm operate better. It doesn't help the animals get looked after better. It doesn't get the fields cultivated better. It pays the bills that you need to be paid. And without sounding entitled, farms should be able to afford these bills without diversifying. It's the way the sector is in farming and the way it is in this country that is pulling it down. There's times where I am doing diversified projects. I'm spending all day in the butchery, or I'm spending all afternoon cleaning the glamping site ready for guests, when I should be trimming the foot of a sheep, or I should be moving some goats from A to B, or I should be getting ready to make the hay, I should be making the feed, all these things, and the farm suffers for it. So before you think to yourself, why don't farmers all just diversify? The only thing diversification brings to a farm is money. All it does is take the rest. It takes your time, it takes your soul and your will sometimes, because it adds another layer of pressure and work to your life. So that's what I'm going to say about it. Farm diversification has its place. We all know that. And a lot of you on here who follow me are diversified farmers, or have had something to do with a diversified farmer. I'm a diversified farmer. But in a lot of cases, all diversification does is brings money, but it takes from everything else. What do I mean by that? Sometimes you should be doing the farm and not the diversifying jobs. So if you're a farmer and you're struggling and you can see a way through it diversifying, don't let this put you off. But what I will say, for someone who's done it for a long time now, is be prepared for it to take your eye off the farm ball, because that's what it does. You need to realise that you can't be a farmer and a butcher and a host and a publican without it having some impact on all of them. In fact, diversifying often means you do a lot of jobs not as well as you would if you only had the one job to do. But that's something we live with as farmers, because we try our best and everyone loves it, and we do well with it, and it's what we do. But it might not always be the best option for every farm. So the government really needs to get off farms' backs and telling us this is what we need to do, because in a lot of cases it won't help farms. So really, diversifying is an option if the option's available or viable, but it's not a solution for everybody. So I wish that the current narrative and the government, etc., is that we should be diversifying, we should be doing this, we should be doing that, because it's not the complete solution. First and foremost, farms should pay, and diversification should be an expansion choice. That's what I believe. We're lucky enough to have been doing it for long enough that it's a big part of our business. But I've thought about this a lot of the time. I've thought about this a lot, and would I do it again in exactly the same farming situation that I'm in? And if I'm completely honest, a lot of farmers, I don't see how you could do it. That's what I think. More than that, if farms have got a big thumping great inheritance tax bill coming, they're worried, and they're not going to be expanding, and they're not going to be thinking about growth for the future. So that's another big problem. So yeah, it's not the answer for a lot of people, but it's a solution to some problems if you're able to do it.